Hello, and welcome back to my channel. In the year 2000, as a freshman in high school, I was asked by the leadership of the grassroots disability rights group, Adept, to speak on their behalf at the Democratic National Convention out in Los Angeles. As a 14-year-old, I was excited. The normal person gets to talk in front of a national audience, especially at 14. In June of that year, Adept hit the headquarters of the Democratic and Republican committees in Washington, D.C. One of the demands was that Adept had a spot to speak about the disability platform, specifically ending the institutional bias in Medicaid long-term care at their conventions. Both parties agreed, but the Republican Party backed out, getting the actor Christopher Reeves, who talked about embryonic stem cell research to, quote, fix quadriplegics. Hey, mighty O Superman, stop being so uptight. It is okay to be a kryptonite. Later that summer, I was nominated and won the Frank Harkin Leadership Award, which was presented by the National Council on Independent Living. That night we were invited to the United States Naval Observatory, where Vice President Gore reiterated his promise to adapt. The leadership of Adept asked 14-year-old me to represent them, instead of getting somebody more experienced like Justin Dart or Barb Toomer. My mother, father, and the leadership of National Adapt helped me craft my speech. They wanted to make sure my speech was just right. I didn't even mention Al Gore's or George Bush *S names in my speech. I also made sure that I wore my black and teal Adapt shirt. The trip out to California was interesting. We had a layover at Chicago O'Hare, but it was so short they had a porter waiting for me at the gate and drove me on an accessible cart to my next gate, which was in a different concourse. We got to the gate just in time. That was only the second time I was on a wide-body aircraft. When I got to LAX, the ground crew stripped the gears on my chair by pushing it across the tarmac while it was engaged. I dealt with it. I always find it weird when I travel to the West Coast. I remember when I got to the hotel wanting pizza, but falling asleep before the pizza arrived. I was scheduled to speak on August 16th, 2000. Now we are ordinary citizens new to politics and security. We were assigned a tracker to help us navigate the convention. We wanted to go down to see the protesters and the band rage against the machine, which freaked everybody out. Yeah, my parents freaked the committee out too. The security team told us why they are so protective of their speakers, which is for our safety. We had a driver. The speechwriters wanted to cut my speech, but we told them it was too hard to reprogram my speech. They went out and talked amongst themselves. They came back and told us they were giving me the full 7 minutes. The next day was the big day. I got up, dressed, and waited for my ride. We got our credentials, which we got to keep. I was originally scheduled to speak early in the morning, but they kept pushing me back. They were trying to get me to speak during prime time. Now I was in the holding room deep in the Staples Center, and that was where my parents and I stayed for hours. I forgot if there was a television. I went on right before prime time. As I was getting ready to be introduced, Senator Tom Harkin was walking up. I met Senator Harkin at the National Council of Independent Living Conference earlier that summer when he presented me with the Frank Harkin Memorial Award. He has been a long-time champion of disability rights due to his brother Frank, who was deaf, sponsoring the Americans with Disabilities Act, versions of NICIL, and the Disability Integration Act. We embraced, which took our tracker back. Then the senator asked when I was to go on. They said in a few minutes. Senator Harkin turned to his people and said, "I want to see Kyle speak." His people told him no, but the senator insisted on watching me. Because it was right before prime time, the crowd was gigantic. Now I am not putting my entire speech in this video. I'll put a link to my speech in the video description below. I announced my candidacy for president. No, I'm not running. I met Jimmy Smith and Jerry Springer. After my speech, I did an interview and then went to get some ice cream. The next day, I was on the front page of the Observer Reporter. Our flight from LAX to Chicago O'Hare was canceled, so they put us on standby. We waited all day. We got upgraded from coach to business class from LAX to Chicago O'Hare, but we left late at night, meaning we didn't get to O'Hare until after 11, then we waited. I gate-checked my chair all the way through to Pittsburgh. It wasn't until 1 in the morning that we landed in Pittsburgh, and the airline bent my joystick up. When I was in the complaint office, I was met saying I was going to sue United Airlines. They said it would be hard to prove. Interestingly enough, there was a newspaper with my picture on the front page on the desk. The man took a double take, swore under his breath, and started to take me seriously. Thankfully, I was able to sleep in the next day. I wrote a letter to United Airlines complaining about what happened and demanding they fix my chair. I started high school in my manual chair, while Blackburn's Pharmacy waited for United Airlines to pay for the repairs. It took several weeks, but they did pay for the repairs to my chair. The experience of speaking at the DNC was one of the most interesting things I have ever done. From that experience, I got asked to speak at disability rights conferences and rallies nationwide. No, I am not running for president, nor having plans to do so. In 2016, I watched a young girl with a disability do a comedy routine bashing the Republican nominee. Yeah, I am not even saying his name. He does not deserve that kind of respect. I thought what a clown she was. Only a handful of ordinary people can address a political convention, and you should use the time wisely, promoting civil and human rights, especially when we are seeing attacks on all of our rights at the current moment. Speaking at a political convention was an interesting experience. Would I do it again? If they ask me. However, I found what I want to do for the rest of my life. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. I will see you soon.